Okay, so before you judge me, just know that I'm fully aware I'm a terrible person. Like, genuinely awful. But in my defense, she started it. And also, I didn't mean for things to go this far. I definitely didn't mean to fall in love with her. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning. Before we get into the story, comment where you're watching from and rate the story from the scale of 1 to 10. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you won't miss my next story. My name is Sage. I'm 18, and I'm a freshman at Riverside Community College, where I have exactly 2 friends, a decent GPA, and one person who has made it her personal mission to make my life miserable since high school. Her name is Cameron Wells. Cameron, with the perfect blonde hair and the perfect volleyball scholarship and the perfect everything. Cameron, who was basically royalty at our high school and apparently decided to attend the same college as me just to continue making my life hell. It started junior year of high school when I came out. Not like some big dramatic announcement or anything. I just stopped hiding. I held my girlfriend's hand in the hallway. I wore a pride pin on my backpack. Normal stuff. But Cameron noticed, and she made it her job to make sure everyone else noticed too. Comments in the hallway. Accidentally knocking my books over. Whispers loud enough for me to hear. Nothing I could report without sounding dramatic, but enough to make every single day exhausting. Now we're both in college. She's 19, a sophomore on a volleyball scholarship, and apparently has energy left over to make my life miserable. We're at the same school, and somehow the universe thought it would be hilarious to put us in the same English literature class. Great. Just great. But here's the thing about being the quiet art student who spends lunch in the library. You notice things. You overhear things. And one day, about 3 weeks ago, I overheard something very, very interesting. I was in the library, hidden in my usual corner spot, working on a painting for my portfolio. Cameron and her volleyball teammates came in supposedly to study, but really just to gossip. They sat at a table nearby, completely unaware I was behind the bookshelf. And that's when I heard Cameron's friend say, "So, have you talked to that girl from the app yet? What was her name?" And Cameron said in this quiet, almost nervous voice, "Yeah, her name is Riley. We've been talking for like 2 weeks. She's really cool." Another friend laughed and said, "I still can't believe you're on a lesbian dating app. What if someone sees you?" And Cameron's voice got sharp. "That's why I didn't use my real name or photos. My parents would kill me if they found out. But I needed to talk to someone who actually understands." I sat there, frozen, trying to process what I'd just heard. Cameron Wells, my bully, the girl who made my life miserable for being gay, was on a lesbian dating app, was catfishing someone because she was too scared to be herself. The irony was absolutely insane. And that's when the idea hit me. The terrible, awful, possibly genius idea. Revenge. I could catfish her, become someone she trusted, make her fall for a fake person, and then reveal it all. It was petty, it was wrong, but after 2 years of torture, it felt justified. That night, I created a new profile. I used photos from a random girl's Instagram, someone from another state with no mutual friends. I made up a whole persona. Lex, age 19, loves photography and indie music, cool and confident. Everything I wished I could be. Finding Cameron's profile was easy. She was using the name Cammy with carefully cropped photos where you couldn't see her face clearly. Her bio said, 19, still figuring things out, just wants someone real to talk to. It was vulnerable, almost sad, but I pushed that feeling down. This was the girl who called me slurs in high school. She deserved this. I sent her a message, something casual about the band in her bio. She responded in 5 minutes, and just like that, we started talking. At first, I told myself I was gathering information, learning her weaknesses. But then we actually started having real conversations, deep ones. She told Lex things she clearly never told anyone, about the pressure to be perfect, how her parents had her whole life planned out, how she'd known she liked girls since she was 14 but couldn't tell anyone, how exhausting it was to hide all the time. how lonely she felt even when surrounded by people. And I told her things too, real things. As Lex, I opened up about feeling invisible, about loving art but being afraid to share it, about wanting to be brave. It was easier to be honest when pretending to be someone else. The irony was not lost on me. We talked every day. Good morning texts, good night voice messages, though I had to use a voice changer app which felt increasingly ridiculous. But she never questioned it. She just opened up more and more. 2 weeks in, she sent me a message at midnight. "I think I'm falling for you. Is that crazy? We haven't even met, but I feel like you actually see me." I stared at that message for 20 minutes. This was it, the moment I could destroy her. Screenshot this, spread it around campus, watch her perfect reputation crumble. But instead, I typed, "It's not crazy. I feel the same way." And I did. That was the problem. Somewhere between planning revenge and late-night conversations, I started actually caring about her. Not Cameron the bully, but Cammy, this scared girl trying to survive. The girl who sent me sunset photos and talked about her dreams. The girl who laughed at my jokes and asked about my day like she really cared. I was falling for her, and I was doing it while lying about everything. At school, Cameron still barely acknowledged me. A few times, I caught her staring with this weird expression I couldn't read. Once, she even started to say something in the hallway, but her teammates called her and the moment passed. 3 weeks in, Cammy asked to meet in person. "I know it's scary. I'm terrified, but I trust you. Can we meet for coffee?" I panicked. I couldn't meet her. She'd recognize me instantly. So I made up a family emergency. She was understanding, supportive. The guilt was eating me alive. I started this for revenge, but now I was just lying to someone I cared about. Someone who was being vulnerable and authentic, and I was completely fake. Then everything shifted. It was a Thursday afternoon. I was at my locker between classes when I heard crying. Real sobbing coming from the women's bathroom. The hallway was mostly empty. I should have minded my business, but something made me push open that door. Cameron was there, sitting on the floor, knees to chest, crying so hard she was shaking. Her perfect hair was a mess, mascara running. She looked completely broken. She saw me and laughed bitterly. "Of course it's you. Go ahead, tell everyone. I know you want to." I should have left, but I sat down next to her, and I said, "What happened?" She looked shocked that I'd asked. Then she told me. Her parents found texts on her phone, questions about her sexuality to a friend. They freaked out, told her it was a phase, took her phone away, made her start seeing a church counselor. She'd just gotten it back. "I can't keep pretending," she whispered, "but I can't lose my family either." My heart broke. For her, for me, for this entire mess. I asked, "Do you have anyone to talk to?" She shook her head, then hesitated. "There's someone online. We've been talking for weeks. She's the only person who knows the real me. But I can't talk to her now because my parents are monitoring everything." She was talking about me, about Lex. The guilt hit like a truck. I made a decision. Probably stupid. I pulled out my phone and opened a note. "Give me a way to contact you that your parents don't know about." She looked confused, but gave me an old email address. I said, "Check that email tonight." She stared at me. "Why are you being nice to me?" I helped her up. "Because everyone deserves someone in their corner, even you." That night, I emailed her from an anonymous account. "Hey, it's Sage. I know we're not friends, but I heard what happened. You're not alone. If you need to talk, I'm here." She responded an hour later. "Why?" I wrote back, "Because I know what it's like to feel alone." We emailed all night. She told me about her parents, her fears, her anger. I told her about coming out, losing friends, learning to be okay with myself. It was the most honest conversation we'd ever had, as ourselves. Not Lex and Cammy, as Sage and Cameron. But I was still texting her as Lex, too, comforting her as both people. It was exhausting and unsustainable.
Over the next 2 weeks, Cameron and I became something I couldn't define. Not friends, but not enemies. We'd not in hallways. She stopped with the comments. Once when her friend made a joke about my outfit, Cameron told her to knock it off. Everyone looked shocked. At night, we'd email. She'd talk about therapy. Her counselor was actually supportive about trying to figure out how to be herself. I listened, supported her, and I was doing the same thing as Lex, living a double life. Then came the Saturday that changed everything. Cameron's parents went out of town, and she had the apartment to herself. She emailed, "Want to come over? I could use the company." I almost said no. This was too complicated, but I couldn't help myself. When I got there, she answered in sweatpants and a hoodie. No makeup, hair messy, more vulnerable than I'd ever seen. We sat in her room and talked for hours. Really talked. She told me about the pressure, the expectations, being perfect as a cage. I told her about the bullying, how much it hurt. She cried. "I'm sorry for everything. I was dealing with my own stuff by hurting you, and that's not an excuse, but I'm so sorry." I'd waited years to hear those words, and now I just felt tired of anger. "I forgive you." She hugged me, held on like I was an anchor. Something shifted. We pulled back, her face so close, her green eyes red from crying but beautiful. She whispered, "Can I tell you something crazy? I think I'm falling for you, the real you." Oh God, this was it, everything falling apart, because she was falling for me while also in love with Lex, a person who didn't exist. I should have told her then, but I kissed her instead. She kissed back. For a few perfect minutes, nothing else mattered. When we broke apart, she smiled. "I need to tell Lex, the girl online. I need to tell her I met someone, that I want to try this with you." The guilt crashed over. I watched her type the message to Lex, breaking things off. My phone buzzed in my pocket with the notification. She looked at me. "Done. Now it's just us." Except nothing was real. But I smiled and said, "Just us." The next 2 weeks were heaven and hell. Cameron and I were together. She held my hand on campus, sat with me at lunch, didn't care what anyone thought. We went on real dates. She was funny and sweet and genuine. She said she could finally be herself. I felt the same, except for the massive lie between us. I had ghosted Lex completely. Cameron seemed sad about it for a bit, but then focused on us. But I knew it bothered her. 2 weeks into our relationship, we were in my dorm room lying on my bed. She said, "Can I tell you something about Lex?" My heart stopped. "Sure." She sat up. "I feel guilty. She helped me so much. Then I abandoned her. What if she needed me?" The guilt was crushing. I'm sure she understood. She looked serious. But what if she wasn't real? What if it was a catfish? My blood went cold. "What makes you think that?" She shrugged. "Little things. She never video chatted, her voice sounded weird, kept making excuses not to meet. What if someone was messing with me? How pathetic would that be?" I couldn't breathe. She was figuring it out. I had to tell her. But how do you admit you started dating someone as revenge? I deflected. That's a lot of effort just to mess with someone. She nodded. "You're right. I'm probably paranoid." Crisis averted. For now. The truth came out the worst possible way. We were at the library studying. My phone was on the table. A notification came through from the dating app. Cameron saw it. "Wait, you're on there too." Confused, but not suspicious yet. I should have lied. But I panicked, tried to grab my phone too fast, knocked it off the table. It fell face up. There on the screen was Cameron's message to Lex from weeks ago, in my message history, because I was Lex. Cameron stared, then at me, then back at the screen. I watched her face change. Confusion, realization, hurt, anger.
She stood so fast, her chair fell. You're Lex? Oh my God, you're Lex! Her voice shook. This whole time, you were catfishing me? I reached for her. Cameron, let me explain. She stepped back. Explain what? That you created a fake person to mock me? Get revenge? I told you everything. I trusted you. I fell in love with you twice. And you were lying. People stared. She was crying and yelling. Was any of it real? Or was I just a joke? I was crying too. It wasn't a joke. It started that way. I heard you in the library and I was angry and I wanted revenge. But then we talked and everything changed. I fell for you. I never meant... She cut me off. You never meant to what? Fall in love while lying to my face? Make me feel crazy? She grabbed her bag. Stay away from me. And she left. While I stood there. Because what could I say? She was right. The next week was hell. Cameron didn't come to class for 3 days. When she returned, she looked exhausted. She avoided me completely, changed her schedule. Her friends glared at me. Rumors spread. I deserved it. I'd done something terrible. 1 week later, I found a note in my locker from Cameron. Meet me at Riverside Park, Saturday, 2 p.m., the bench by the pond. We need to talk. My hands shook. Saturday came. I got there early, sat on the bench. Cameron showed up exactly at 2. She sat on the far end. We watched the ducks in silence. Finally, she spoke. I've been so angry. I nodded. You have every right. She continued. I wanted to hate you, but I can't figure out which parts were real and which were fake. I looked at her. The feelings were real. Everything I said is Lex about understanding you, caring about you, falling for you. That was real. The only fake thing was my name and face. Everything else was me. She cried. But you did it to hurt me. I couldn't deny it. Yes, at first. But the second I got to know you, I regretted it. I wanted to tell you, but I was scared of losing you. She laughed bitterly. You made me fall in love with 2 versions of you. How is that fair? It's not. I was wrong. I'm so sorry. Silence. Then Cameron spoke. The worst part? I still love you. Both versions. And I hate that I do. My heart broke and healed. It's not messed up. It's human. I moved closer. She didn't move away. I love you too. I know I don't deserve another chance, but if you'll let me, I want to earn back your trust. No more lies, just us, the real versions. She looked at me, searching my face. I can't just forgive you. Not yet. What you did will take time to heal from. I nodded, trying not to cry. I understand. She wasn't done. But I don't want to lose you either. So we start over. Completely. Like we just met. No history. Just 2 people getting to know each other for real. Hope bloomed. You mean... She held up her hand. We take it slow. Rebuild from the ground up. You prove you won't lie again. And I figure out if I can forgive you. No promises. Just a chance. It was more than I deserved. I'll take it. Whatever you need. She smiled tiny. Okay. Hi. I'm Cameron. I'm 19. I play volleyball. And I'm figuring out who I am. Nice to meet you. I smiled back, tears falling. Hi, I'm Sage. I'm 18. I love art. And I'm trying to be someone I'm proud of. Nice to meet you too. We sat on that bench for 3 more hours. just talking, as ourselves. No screens, no fake names. We talked about everything, our families, our fears, dreams, the hard stuff too, the bullying, the catfishing. She asked questions, I answered honestly, all of it, even the terrible parts. By sunset, something had shifted. We weren't okay yet, but we were something new, something honest. As we got up to leave, she said, I'm not ready to hold your hand yet, or kiss you. Not until I trust you. I nodded. I understand. She smiled bigger. But maybe we could do this again, next Saturday. My heart soared. I'd love that. She started to walk away, then turned back. Sage? Yeah? She looked at me with those green eyes. Thank you for being honest, finally. I smiled. Thank you for giving me a chance I don't deserve. Over the next few months, we rebuilt everything. Slowly. Coffee dates where we just talked. Study sessions that were actually studying. Walks where we learned each other's favorite things. She told me about volleyball and family pressure. I told her about art and finding myself. We were honest. Painfully, beautifully honest. 2 months in, we were at the park again. Our spot. She reached over and took my hand. Just held it. I forgive you, she said quietly. I'm not saying I forgot, but I forgive you. I squeezed her hand, crying happy tears. I don't deserve you. She smiled. No, you don't, but you're stuck with me anyway. 3 months in, she kissed me. Under the stars after a movie date, and it felt like a first kiss, like everything before was practice, and this was real. This was us. No lies, no fake identities, just Sage and Cameron. Now it's been 6 months. We're still together, still figuring things out. Her parents know about us. That was hard, but we got through it together. She's teaching me volleyball. I'm teaching her to paint. We're not perfect. We still have hard days where the past comes up. But we're real, and we're honest, and we're trying. So yeah, I catfished my bully to get revenge. And somehow, through all the lies and hurt and mess, I found something real, something worth fighting for. I'm not proud of how we started, but I'm proud of who we're becoming. Together. And if there's a moral to this story, it's probably don't catfish people, revenge isn't worth it, and honesty is always better than lies. But also, sometimes the worst mistakes lead us exactly where we need to be, even if we have to go through hell to get there. So, if you made it to the end of our story, do me a favor, hit that like button if this made you feel something, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from, and if you want more GL love stories like this one, go ahead and subscribe, because I've got more coming your way. Thanks for listening to our story. Peace and love.